A drive into the West Bank is a journey into a struggle that hasn't changed for decades. Donald Trump says he's now brokered a pathway to peace. Maybe. But how long before it runs through the place where it really matters? There's been a flurry of excitement from Israel to Abu Dhabi and beyond over the deal, and it is potentially a game changer between the Jewish state and the Arab world, with trade deals, flights, tourism and peace, they claim. But what's the reality at the heart of the conflict they say they'll solve? We're heading to the West Bank Palestinian town of Anabta, looking for a man called Harry Hanoun.
Assalamu alaikum.
Everyone seems to know him here, and they direct us to their local hero after an incident that happened a day earlier. We found him in his back garden.
Assalamu alaikum.
أهلين والله الحمد لله ما شفته في طريقة أبسط شيء عسكرية جهنمية ولفني ولا هو ده ابن فارغ.
Mr. Hanoun had been among a group protesting a plan by Israel to build an 8-square-kilometre industrial park, expanding its already illegal settlements into more Palestinian land. With his flag and his walking stick, he rejected the Israeli soldiers' demands that he leave. There was a scuffle. He pushed a soldier's gun away. He's then pushed to the ground and handcuffed.
عندهم الحل الأوحد إنهم هاي الأرض بدهم مش يخلوا ولا مواطن فيها حتى إنهم يستولوا عليها. هذا الاحتلال الإسرائيلي هو احتلال يختلف عن كل احتلال العالم. هذا هو احتلال إحلالي، يعني بده يقعد محلك ويطردك من هذا الأرض. ما عندوش حلول. كذاب إذا بقول لك عنده حلول.
The Israelis say he is a known inciter and he has spent time back in the 80s in an Israeli jail. He is for them a terrorist. But for Palestinians, he represents a daily struggle for land and equality. We drive deeper into the West Bank. There's been a report of a car ramming. The Israeli security forces control over 60% of it, and they're quick to release CCTV of the incident. The car, driven by a young Palestinian man, drives into an Israeli soldier and police officer. He gets out, preparing to attack them with a knife, we're told. He's shot and injured. Well, this is a typical flashpoint. It's a junction in the heart of the West Bank. It's Palestinian land in their eyes, but the Israeli settlements are all around. Over there on the hill, you can see one of the settlements. These are illegal under international law, but they're allowed by the Israeli government and they continue to be built. And as we move round, you can see over here there is a bus stop. This is an Israeli bus stop, Israeli soldiers guarding it. That's for the settlers to be able to move from one settlement within the West Bank to another. This is just the sort of place where incidents like this tend to happen. Today there are more than 750,000 Israeli Jewish settlers living in the West Bank. That's more than triple the number who were here in 1993 when the Oslo Accords promised a peace which never came. Among them is Raquel Gordon, from London originally.
When we moved here about 20 years ago, that Arab town was very, very small, and it's grown exponentially since we moved here.
But do you not see a sort of that you're being a bit hypocritical in the sense that you're saying that the Arab town has grown, but your town wasn't here at all?
This is, as far as I'm concerned, it's Israeli territory, and the whole of Israel belongs to the Jewish people.
For decades, the Palestinian quest has been their own state, with East Jerusalem as their capital and with Jewish settlers moving back out of the West Bank. But is that still achievable, or should Israel's deal with Gulf Arabs prompt a new Palestinian strategy?
I think what we have to do as Palestinians is recognise that there is an apartheid one-state reality, accept that as the starting point, but not accept it as our future. It really stresses the need for a recalibration of the Palestinian struggle, that we can't rely on people that we thought were allies, that we have to sort of seek out allyship, friendship, interconnectedness with other struggles, with other peoples around the world.
There are hints of that already, parallels drawn between perceived injustices here and elsewhere. Palestinian lives matter is the slogan. Our journey ends in Ramallah. A statue of Nelson Mandela stands as a symbol of equality and freedom. It's an irony that the young Palestinian rapper at his feet told us he didn't know who the old man was.
You don't know him?
لا.
Equality here seems far off. Mark Stone, Sky News in the West Bank.